I kind of like the idea of like the speakeasy. Like take it underground. Take it, you know, and you were saying like even on a website I may or may not I'll let you say, but we were talking about it off screen, but it's like a kind of secret chat room you have, stuff, which I kind of like kind of embracing that concept of keep like a little speakeasy underground where you and like your OGs can go hang out, and then like also have like your main channels kind of out in the public, your public persona.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think the inclusivity, exclusivity thing, you know, it's always been a conflict you have to resolve in the social sphere or you know, we're just, you know, the online streaming or interviewing is just an extension of, you know, it's just interpersonal interaction. And you always have used technology to, you know, other than just being in the same room with someone right now, I mean, like the written word, the, you know, television, the telephone, writing people letters, these have all just been extensions of having a one-on-one conversation in person. And, you know, I think, well, I've been saying lately that everything's an extension of the campfire. Like if the campfire is where people met, you know, this where people cooked, they made music and things like that. And it's like who to let in, who to not let in. And it's always been social creatures have always just, you know, the more heads in the space, the more like, oh, that guy's cool. And then that guy does something bad. And you're like, dude, get that guy the hell out of here. In this space, we're on many platforms right now, 4 or 5 different platforms. And I was saying about Trovo that it's maybe kind of good that it doesn't, the restream chat doesn't connect everything there. So you can have an exclusive chat. And that's everything from Trovo to, you know, Discord, all these different, you know, Slack. I don't use all of them, but there's gatekeepers everywhere, I should say. And, you know, you're a gatekeeper right now. Like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah. It's just that you own this content and you are allowed to kick out people or let people in, or it's just a problem that needs to be solved somehow in this every social situation. And when the more that society ostracizes people or lets people in, this gets either more complicated or simpler. And right now it's very complicated.
Yeah.
End of rant. You know,
well, yeah, no.
It's so complicated right now. Yeah.
That's true. I mean, we're going to kind of get into it later, but we might as well just get into it now. Like gatekeeping or like censorship. It's like, I'm starting to be like, okay, like, duh, of course, right. Like, and the whole idea of like freedom of speech. Like, I have the freedom of speech to say whatever I want. It's like, yeah, you do. Not on my platform, not in my chat room, not on my website that I built, not on my, you know, not on my company, like not on my property, basically. You know, it's like, yeah, take your freedom of speech everywhere. I'm not going to stop you. And yeah, the government shouldn't stop you. That's the whole point of the actual law, is that the government can't restrict your freedom of speech. But like my house, you're going to just come into my camp, like you're saying, like the campfire, like my house or my campfire, and just start talking crap to me. No, dude, get out of here, dude. I'm not giving you my food. Like, you're not allowed in my campfire. You're not allowed in my house to talk that stuff. You know, if you want to come and say stuff that is agreeable to me and my people, yeah, like, welcome. Well, I'll, you know, me and you are just people who will like welcome controversy. We'll welcome controversial opinions. We'll let people disagree with us, you know, so we're probably more relaxed than others. But just that idea of like, you're not allowed to censor me. It's like, dude, okay, then get out. Then you don't get a Twitter account, dude. Like, and so I'm kind of like looking at these people complain about like, oh my God, they're censoring everyone on Twitter. It's like, yeah, dude, of course, because Twitter is run by crazy leftists that don't agree with you, and you're trying to like go against them, you know. And I mean, the way I see it too is just like satanic minions. It's like children of the lie, like Satan. It's like if you're trying to fight against Satan, if you're trying to fight against evil, and you're using a platform that's run by evil. You almost have to expect to at some point be censored. It's like you need to view your time on these websites, like on YouTube, on Twitter, as limited. As, you know, if you're actually fighting against their interests, you can't get mad when you're kicked out, and you have to almost assume you're going to eventually, and brace for the alternative, brace for impact on that. So that like gatekeeping thing is the same concept. It's like
it's always going to be here, man. I mean, and that's why, I mean, what we do with rights is very important. You know, that's why I believe, you know, I'm somewhere in the middle as far as whether government grants rights or whether we're born with rights. I tend to think it's kind of it's kind of both and neither at the same time. If you act in an immoral way all the time, I don't believe that God just provides you with rights no matter what. I don't know how to really square it, because it says in the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence, we're born with inalienable rights. But I think if you act in an evil, immoral way, then God takes those rights somehow. I don't know how to square the whole thing, but a lot of these people don't believe in rights. Well, they believe in their rights when they have power, but they don't believe in I don't think there's such a thing as universal rights. It's just whose land it is. Kind of like what you're saying. It's whose land is it? Whose property line is it? And inside of that property line, there's no freedom of speech. I personally think there's no such thing as freedom of freedom of speech is kind of a trap, because it can, there's always been blasphemy laws. There's always manners. There's the possibility of you getting kicked out of something. But what you're saying is totally true about if you're using evil, if you're operating inside of evil to fight evil, your days are limited. It can spill, of course, over into the physical realm and to the actual realm, but digitally, if you fight hard enough against it, your ass is getting kicked out eventually, and it might be good. Yeah. SeanvPlanet V300. Like, like 700 accounts, but
yeah. V6 million.
It's a little high, dude.
Sounds a little bit high.
Yeah, it's a little high.
You're jumping to conclusions there. It doesn't sound realistic there.
Yes.
Well, sweet. So my plan for today was to kind of ask you and then kind of give my opinion too at times, maybe on some or most of them. But I wanted to ask you some questions that like Jesse Lee Peterson would ask. Either some he's actually used in his like streams and stuff, or just some that are like my questions, like in his kind of tone. Is that cool?
Do you love white people?
Yeah. First question. Do you love? Yeah. I don't know if you can see it, but I wore this shirt for you, straight out of DC. Stephen Ignoramus. Yeah. I got my nice little Caucasians sweatshirt on, my new favorite shirt. My new favorite shirt to wear around. Go Caucasians. Big time white enthusiast. I don't know if you know that about me.
Yes, I knew that about you. Yes.
Not supremacist. I don't think we're better in any way. I just think, go white people. There's no, there's no harm in cheering on white people. I don't get that.